The Burma people sailed into England from the North Sea by way of the River Trent into the River Tame. In the 7th century, they established a settlement in Birmingham on the banks of a small river called the Ray, which today flows into a brick channel beneath the centre of the city. In 1150, Peter Fitz-William acquired Birmingham Manor and the title Lord of Birmingham, which remained in his family until the middle of the 16th century. In 1538, the historian John Leyland rode through Derrotend on his way to town. He was charmed by what he found, but shocked by the noise made by the smiths. The old Crown Inn in Leyland's time stood in pleasant gardens on the banks of the River Ray. In the early years of the 18th century, Birmingham merchants started to specialize. Others became middlemen, lending money and providing raw materials. The blade mills of Pebble Mill and Sayre Hole Mill specialized in the grinding of sharp edges. These mills concerned themselves with the manufacture of swords, daggers, scissors, knives, and razors, and all kinds of dependable cutting edges. To keep costs down, the smiths experimented with new mixtures of metals, adding to their products. Although nails became one of the staple industries of the town, domestic utensils such as pots and pans, other household requirements began to take over. Being close to the birthplace of iron and steel, Birmingham took to the metal industries. For a time, Birmingham was the supplier of almost every firearm sold in England. At the height of the Napoleon Wars, local gunmakers set up a gun barrel-proof house in the town. The Necessary Act was passed in 1813, and work started on one of England's best purpose-built establishment. At the same time as gun making, the making of jewelry developed. Brooches, bracelets, watch chains, hat pins, and snuff boxes. A century ago, the city's yearly output of wedding rings were over 50,000. And jewelry is still one of the most important industries today. The Birmingham Mint has the longest history of any mint in the world. The mint's first contract in 1851 was for coins for Chile. In 1853 came its first British government contract. Today the mint makes coins for over 100 countries, from Australia to Zanzibar. From the 5th of November, 1838, the Charter of Incorporation made Birmingham a parliamentary borough. This enabled the town to have an elected town council with a mayor. First council choose the signature of authority. The arms of the family de Birmingham dating from the 12th century. Just a single word motto forward. The town hall was designed by Hansom, today being known as the designer of the Hansom cab. By the 1870s, work really began on building a city. Here in and Street in 1973. These buildings were brought down to make way for the new council house. Still very much a Georgian town, but still very much the same today. At the top of Colmore Row stands St. Philip's Cathedral, surrounded by the large banks of the city. The corner of Moore Street in Dale End. Moore Street is one of the oldest streets in the city. The most well-known place in Birmingham, the Bull Ring. Here pictures from 1839 to 1939. The Market Hall, which has stood as a landmark after being destroyed in an air raid in 1940. The Bull Ring today is still a busy marketplace and focal point of the city. Birmingham Parish Church St. Martin's has stood in the Bull Ring since Norman times. It was rebuilt several times. In 1975 was rebuilt as we see it today, but has kept the original tower and spire. Built around 1890, the Victoria Law Court, with its red terracotta walls and richly decorated windows showing scenes in the city's history, was much admired, so much so that many other buildings were built in the same materials. Many customers for the law courts started here at Steel House Lane Police Station. Nearby the police station, the General Hospital, also built in rich terracotta. Matthew Bolton, James Watt, William Murdoch, three of the city's finest men. Bolton, born in Snow Hill, founded the Assay Office and the General Hospital. He financed James Watt's steam engine. Murdoch, a Scot, invented coal gas lighting. The three men are all remembered in Broad Street. Canals are a fascinating feature of Birmingham, and there are more miles of these silent highways in the city than in Venice. Irish labourers did most of the building work. These men slowly dug their way across the Midlands, finishing on the high plateau on which Birmingham stands. Viewed from the air today, what started as small settlements are now high-rise suburbs of this major city. Birmingham Airport services began in 1939 and was taken over by the government 6 months later when war started. It reverted to control of Birmingham Council in 1960 and has since continued to grow. May 1984 saw the opening by the Queen of the latest major addition to the airport, a new international terminal welcoming tourists and businessmen alike to our second city. Modern Birmingham, beauty or the beast arguments abound. But still in keeping with her long history ever changing, keeping up to all that is new.